$20 to get to watch the game and you have to go buy dinner. two trains and a ring.
You get arrested for letting your kid out of the house without supervision.
Yeah.
Yep. Shit, it'll be right to stop swinging yellow. That's a.
We literally ran the neighborhood until the street lights came on.
Yep, be home when the street lights come on.
Supervision was, get your ass home, it's dinner time.
Yep.
We live in a subdivision where there's kids kids are never out.
They're all playing on their Xboxes or whatever.
There's small towns all over Midwest that had a noon whistle, a 6 o'clock whistle, and a 10 o'clock whistle that you could hear everywhere in town. And then you gotta be home for lunch, you gotta be home for dinner, you gotta be home for the night.
Then we're in my town.
It's going like
We used to have 6 o'clock closing of the pubs, so you had to be home before all the guys got out the pub.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. They used to call it the 6 p.m. swell, 6 o'clock swell, because at 6 o'clock the pubs were closing and everybody would down their beer and.
At 6 o'clock?
6 p.m. Yeah.
In a communist country where you live in.
New Zealand, pretty much. Nanny state. We know what's best for you.
I thought maybe it was a 6 a.m. closing. Okay, buddy. Go home. Get the hell out of here. We were drunk 6 hours ago.
And I must get in there pretty early then.
I had a bunch of friends that were from the island, from the UK. And they said the custom for them on New Year's was you went out at midnight. You started at midnight.
We're at first footing.
And you went from house to house, and everybody would try to have the most lavish booze. And you did it till the sun came up.
Bringing in the new year.
Yeah. And in Scotland, the first person over the threshold better be a dark-haired gentleman with whiskey. Not a ginger.
I always try.
Trying out a new menu, we have no idea how it'll go.
Right now, the way my job is going, it works.
Well, actually, very recently, since we booked the place, she and her husband resigned. You won't come.
Yeah.
5 cars.
Every second Tuesday.
Sure, here, good.
Start at 7 o'clock
maybe.
or 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
So tomorrow?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Parent-teacher conferences.
I'm trying to catch everybody before they get home, because once they get home, they ain't going to.
Yeah. If you make it too early, they say, I can't get there fast enough because of traffic.
We have any extra power anywhere? No?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Don't use that power. It comes from coal-fired.
I left my Suburban running.
Careful. Yeah, that's against the law. You can't leave your vehicle running if you're not in it.
Good.
You can if it's locked.
If it's in
No,
your garage.
If you have remotes.
We'll start.
My truck will not allow me to lock the door when the engine's running and I'm not sitting in the seat.
Yeah.
That was a truck.
But no, if you have remote start, you're allowed to do it because it's locked. But otherwise.
Concept of multiple keys with me on it.
Well, it actually has the same sensor that tells you whether or not you have your seatbelt on. Won't allow the doors to lock. I'll lock the door, shut it, and all of a sudden it unlocks itself because nobody's sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it used to be, it's pretty easy to lock your keys.
Especially if you have a Subaru.
Yeah, now it's pretty hard. You have to
Okay, guys, the seating at the table here is just for the board members.
Okay, sure.
So if you would sit back in
My
the,
first meeting.
with the item over on the side of the road.
Would you like to be on the board?
Not available.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure, I'll be on the board, why not? Can I say here?
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
You're volunteering for something?
Volunteer for being the best dressed guy in the room.
We have openings.
Yeah, there you go. It took about year 4. It's been a long process, especially in the
We can't start until Frank gets here.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, I had a degree here.
Had a meeting with Tori. Gotta find
He
out
has
what
2
happened.
minutes.
Probably take
Is Victoria coming?
Oh, yeah, she said she was. And Steve, like, I couldn't go.
I'm just gonna frizzy. Yeah.
Well, Wayne, entertain us until they get here.
Pretty boring.
You did do a soft shoe.
An elf, an orc, and a human walk into a bar. The dwarf ducks.
Off the record before the meeting starts, we handed out a wrap of happy cards. We're at a new venue starting tomorrow. It's the Bent Fort Grill in Aurora. It's on Isla. Starting at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We won't have a private room, but it's supposedly semi-private and quiet. This will be our first time there. Our guest speaker will be the sitting membership director of the LPCO. We have no idea what his agenda is.
Should have a pretty good turnout. We're gonna try to make
Nice Ford bar.
We moved over there because the host from our prior venue that we liked, Opie and Steve Mundell, got work over there sometime in November or maybe October as general manager and head chef. And since we booked the room and promised them we would come over in February, they both resigned.
What did they ever do with that building that was the old Summit Steakhouse?
They're probably gonna tear it down. Most likely.
Yeah,
They haven't
I
done
love that
anything
building.
yet.
I thought it was a great building. It's just a shame.
We may need one more chair because we're expecting Steve and Victoria.
There's too
Sit
many
up-
too.
They might have to sit up here.
You're gonna force somebody to sit next to the chair.
It's supposed to be the secretary supposed to sit next to the chair.
I tried to suggest that the vice chair sat there.
Who's acting as secretary tonight?
Was that?
Just like
Who's acting as secretary tonight?
Well, Ross is Mike's
Proxy.
proxy, but he's going to record the minutes from the report.
Okay.
Stapleton come?
No.
When did you sneak in? I must have missed my email on the
I don't know if it matters.
legislative committee.
I don't know if it matters if you own a firearm or not with your awareness level, Kevin. I'm screwed.
We film?
We'll get a
There's
couple.
2 empties. There's plenty of chairs.
Well, let's go ahead and get started. It is 7:02. Has everybody read the agenda? We can add items later, but is there anything you want to add to the agenda at this point?
I would like to talk about the newsletter.
Okay,
I would state at this time that I had an item on the agenda that's changed slightly, referencing upcoming events. We can just talk about it under that time in the business.
Wanted me to remind you about the
oh yeah, what was that other item?
Secretary of State lists as far as.
Okay. We have several guests here. If you would please introduce yourself. And Karen, you want to take notes just in case Mike can't get this off the recording because the recording's pretty bad.
I can't, since I've been planning on doing that, I've got to work I have to do.
Okay. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us why you're here?
Peter Bass, just checking it out. Thanks.
Thanks, Peter.
My name's Peter. For the benefit of the recording, we'd like to record the names.
Sure.
Spell your last name for the walls.
Pasque.
My name is Mason Haley, Haley. I work with Lance with media, and yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Libertarian Party, and I enjoy helping make a difference.
Glad you came.
Eric Molnar, Chair of the Libertarian Party of Arapahoe County, here to promote tomorrow's Arapahoe Happy Hour, going to be at the Bent Fork Grill. We will start around 6:30. Our featured guest speaker will be Matt DG, the membership director. And for more details, go on our Facebook page at LPAC. And if you have any questions, I'll be around for that.
My name is Christopher Nolan. I'm interested in politics. I found this event that advertises you all are going to be talking about the future of the Libertarian Party. And I'm definitely interested in what the Libertarian Party is about and maybe can contribute some things. And I'd love to hear what everyone has to say.
Forgive me, what is your name?
Christopher Nolan.
Not to be confused with the director.
Oh, that's
All right. Such a modest man.
I'll just
Thank you so much.
mustache, my phony mustache.
There you go.
Hey.
My name is Josh Wallen, and that's W-A-L-E-N. I was brought here mostly because of Lance. I'm a big fan of being libertarian, and I kind of fangirled in Omaha at one of their booths, and he's like, "Oh, you're interested? Come help me out in Colorado." And so I've been kind of talking to him and get more involved, and I've been wanting to get even more involved from there. And if I go far enough back, Karen actually was at my first Gary Johnson rally, which was pretty cool. So I remember pink hair forever.
Awesome. Josh is part of the new development to restart that review.
Beautiful.
That's very important.
Beautiful.
I also got to have lunch with you in Omaha.
We're just going to be starting here pretty quick here. The 19th, I believe, is the date. Yeah. You said, Steve?
My name is Malcolm Foster. I just bought a place in Denver, and Lance reached out to me, and I am sort of helping run the development group in Denver. I'm just here to find out how I can get more involved.
Beautiful. Forgive me, your first name?
Malcolm, M-A-L-C-O-L-M.
Okay.
Lisa Beck, Chair of the Style Committee and Transition Bylaws Committee. I'm on the agenda.
Karen Ann Carlos, I'm the Libertarian Party National Secretary and the Chair of the Historical Preservation Committee. And the wife of the chair, so.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully we can make this interesting to you guys. This is a business meeting, so it can be kind of dry. But we're going over the business that the state party has completed in the last month and what we have planned for the next month and in the future. So has everybody read the minutes from last month? Any corrections? Okay, then the minutes are approved as written. I would encourage everybody to make sure that you read those because frankly we've made some mistakes in the last few months that haven't been caught. And I think it's important that we take a little bit of effort and make sure that if we see any mistakes that we correct those before they're presented to us the following Monday night. Officer reports. I have nothing to add to my report. Ms. Poe.
Nothing to add.
Mr. Hirschman.
Nothing to add.
Ms. Reynolds.
Nothing to add.
Thank you for getting on it. I know this is your first time and you did a great job getting posted on time. Thank you for that. Ms. Tavendale.
Just one thing to add, I reached out to Raymond Doan, who's running for Denver City Clerk and Recorder. He's in the petition gathering, signature gathering stage of petitioning onto the ballot. If you have any spare time, you can reach out to him and offer to help him gather those signatures. Having a liberty-minded clerk and recorder in Denver would be monumental. He also needs some help with his website. The person that was helping him has kind of been swamped with their own stuff and can't help him anymore. And so he would really, really like some help with his website. So,
how many more signatures does he need?
He hopes he has enough, but he would like a few more just to make sure that if any wash out, he's still covered.
When's his deadline?
I want to say filing deadline is the second week of March.
Okay. Do you know if he'll be at the Denver restart meeting?
He should be.
Okay,
He
good.
will
Good.
be there.
Perfect. It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
We have a lot of young people in Denver that are very excited about the Denver development group, and we could probably get a lot of helpers from that meeting. And those are the type of things that the local affiliates and development groups really get deeply involved with. And it's a lot of fun and makes a lot of changes that are in the right direction. Charles?
I had a question for Ms. Cavendale. I'm looking on the Douglas, and you can tell me if we can talk about this later, but the campaign sheet. Are we also trying to bug these cities to find out appointments or just elections?
Anything that we can put our names forward for, the small boards, the local seats, regional.
It's like pulling teeth. So you want appointments too, so it's not necessarily any public office appointments.
Anything we can get. It's a huge improvement on what we've had before.
Okay.
So anything we can get, we're grateful for. Yep.
I've got about half of what you need, but I got it.
Thank you, Kim. Mr. Gubranson.
Well, this has been running far too smoothly so far.
So you're going to make a change to that?
One thing to add, something that came up today. Apparently, there's an event and a need from El Paso County in Colorado Springs over Memorial Day weekend. The event is not very expensive, but they want to use this as something to get their local people more involved and active. And if they can staff the event, I have committed that I would do my best to support that event through whatever resources we have as a state party, including paying all of the fees and entry. Just to go on record. What was the name of the event, John?
Territory Days.
Date?
26th through the 28th.
It's Sunday, Monday, Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
But just to go on record, to say, and I've said this in a variety of ways over the past 2 years, I believe that it is my responsibility as outreach director to support the affiliates and to get the affiliates involved in local events so that we're just not doing everything in Denver Metro. So far, we've got a history now. We've gone down to Pueblo 2 years in a row. Mr. Stapleton has organized a crew down there and made sure that the booth was staffed. I've gotten him everything he needed to set up. I've come down and torn down, and I've worked a couple of hours. He's done this 2 years in a row. I expect he's going to request that we do this again.
I've actually done it.
Well, you were even before I came on.
Yeah.
We went out to Cedar Edge last year and did the Apple Festival out west, and Jake Stooksbury rallied his troops and staffed the entire event. We had a wonderful weekend. We did the same thing. We set it up. We put our camper in a campsite nearby. We had a wonderful weekend in Cedar Edge. We tore it down and came home. He's already requested we do that again. That'll be sometime in September, I believe it is. And I told him he could count on us. So again, if even Arapahoe County, we supported their county fair last year. We supported the Douglas County Fair the year before. You guys didn't ask us for help this year. Last year, I understand.
Well, we just did the parade this year. We didn't set up our.
Okay. So those type of events are working very well. But to expect me to come from Denver Metro to other parts of the state and bring a staff of volunteers to work your booth, it's not going to happen, and it's not going to be me. So that's all I got to say about that. No further additions to my reports. Yes.
Can we borrow the booth then? Like if I wanted to do something.
If you wanted to make arrangements and come, all the materials are at my house in a trailer that was donated.
Oh, so as long as I have a hitch,
you could take the entire trailer. What I recommend is you just take what you need for that booth because that's a heavy freaking trailer.
Yeah, fair enough.
And there's an awful lot of stuff in there. But, you know, I fit everything in the back of my pickup truck. We had, what's his name? He's been gone so long. One of our other members came and picked up enough to run a booth over Cinco de Mayo in, was it Longmont?
Yeah.
And he fit everything in the back of his
SUV.
SUV.
Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, bastard.
Is El Paso County expecting any funding from us to pay for their booth?
I was just talking to John about that earlier. I think the total costs for registration, insurance, and some bogus fee that they can take from you and promise never to give back if they decide not to accept you would come to somewhere in the neighborhood of $250. And if they come up with money, great. If not, I think that's worth our investment from the state.
We'll go ahead and make the motion at this point.
I would rather wait and let John find out what his group wants to do. It's not, I don't think the registration deadline is until before our next meeting. It's middle of March or something. Yeah. So we would have our March meeting where I could.
So you'll have all the information for us to the next meeting. Thank you, Kevin.
You forget about me?
Ms. Hurls.
I had a question. Are we?
Did she have her hand up?
I did, but it nodded, so I put it down.
Yep.
Are we going to be planning tax protest days?
There's been some discussion about it, but I don't think anybody's taken reins on that yet.
That's cheap, free. Just go out and stand with signs.
Yeah.
And harass the Liberty tax people.
Well, that's another thing where,
I've done it, it's fun.
you know, for the state to do, we did something that I think Douglas County did that. We participated.
We've done it every year for the last 3 years.
I think it's something we should try to recommend that every affiliate try to organize it. It's a very simple thing to do. Get some signs, go out and stand on a street corner. But for the state to pick a street corner in Denver, I mean, we can certainly do that, but I would rather see if something happened in Denver with the Denver affiliate, and we would support them. It's their town.
That might be something to discuss at the Denver meeting on the 19th.
That's 1 week from now.
Douglas County is, we've already made arrangements. We put it in our schedule. We're going to be doing a protest on gosh, I think it's a Saturday or the Sunday before the 15th, so just a couple days before the 15th. Ms. Harlow?
What about the state party doing another overpass thing? Because that's something that's definitely on the scale of the state party. And that was a lot of fun when we did that for Gary Johnson.
Yeah, it was.
Again, for free.
Well,
Except for making me sign.
I'm not opposed to that, but if I can convince the county affiliates to do their own thing, I don't want to conflict with them. So it would have to be on a different day. If Denver decides to do this, I don't want to steal their thunder.
Well, you know, that overpass would give us a lot more exposure than we're going to get having 4 or 5 affiliates doing their own thing.
I don't know if that affiliate is Denver, and they've got, I mean, how many people have we had out there for a state event?
Yeah.
Most I've seen at some of these state events are sometimes 20 people. Denver's had 8 to 40 people at some of their meetings. I won't speak for Denver, but.
Mr. Seebeck, you had something?
2 things, actually. One, as far as the tax day protest goes, in times past.
We're trying to record this, Mike, so would you speak up, please?
That's right. In times past for tax protests, we have had $1 billion bills to hang out. I don't know if there's any of those still around all these years later, or if National still has any available. They were a great handout tool, and we did these protests at the post office where people were dropping off their mail returns in the mail to beat the postmark, to beat the deadline. Yeah. The second thing is the territorial days thing. Many years ago, the previous incarnation of El Paso County did the only time that a party has ever been in the local festival lights holiday parade down there. For $200, we have now reached, which hit 500,000 people between in person and on television. Territory Days has a similar reach. It is a huge multi-block party turnout every year, similar to what we do at the Chili Festival and the State Fair. I very strongly suggest that the board endorse and help make this happen. It is a huge bang for the buck for an operation.
Ms. Pope?
As far as the state doing a tax day thing, I think as long as we have an affiliate that is able to do something, we should let that affiliate do it, and the state should step in where we don't have an affiliate.
Charles?
I would just ask that somebody note the calendar, because the next day to follow up on that is, we haven't capitalized, is on Tax Freedom Day. That also gets a lot of attention for when you've done that, how many months of the year you're working for the government. That creates an impact on
What
it.
is that date this year?
I don't know, we'll have to like.
I think last year was like April 26th or something.
That was in May.
Oh, no, it's months, it wasn't April.
It was in May. And this year it'll probably be July.
But that's another free opportunity.
Even though not exactly, I mean, they're overlap, why wouldn't the best place potentially to hold a protest on tax protest be the outside of Denver Federal Reserve Building? That might be the place that you attract the most attention. It certainly gets the law enforcement officers looking your way, which always draws the scene. It's just me talking.
Well, if you're going to the Denver Development Group meeting, you might want to bring that up.
Yeah, plan on it.
Okay. Step up.
Google says that this year's Tax Freedom Day is April 19.
Thank you.
April 19th.
April 19. Take it up with Google. I'm just reporting here.
It's roughly a third of the year.
Federal.
It's probably an average of all taxpayers.
Some people never have to pay tax.
California. Anything else? Yes. Mr. Galant.
Well, I had a question, and it might be a motion. So John Keel told Matt that he's interested in being the Southeast Regional Rep. Can I just anoint him, or is there a procedure whereby, does the board vote on that, or do we have any?
Not at this point.
So I can just call him that?
Yeah. Just put it over.
All right, sounds good.
You need a sword tonight?
Yes.
Nothing else, Steve?
Nope.
Mr. Stapleton.
The other thing I want to add to my report is Wednesday coming up on the Legislative Lobby Day. Meeting point, we will meet at the north entrance of the state capitol. They will, roughly about 9 o'clock, we won't get any access to legislators till they're out of their session in the morning anyway. Looking at the schedule so far, they should be done in roughly about an hour. So we can meet and talk and come up with a plan of action to go out to legislators. Anybody who's interested in meeting a specific legislator, let me know. I'll get you to their office. There's several committee hearings in the afternoon that we can sit in it if we're not busy talking to the legislators, going around from office to office and introducing ourselves and talking about what's important to us. We've talked to several legislators and they are very happy to have us there and look forward to hearing from us.
So you plan on having everybody gather at 9 o'clock on Wednesday?
Yeah. Okay. And if somebody can't be there at 9 and they want to come and go, if we could get my phone number in front of them so they could text me if they show up and meet up somewhere, or give me a call, then I'd be more than happy to meet up with them and get them in front of whoever they want to see.
Okay. What's your phone number?
719-281-9161.
That could be pretty powerful on Wednesday.
Thank you.
I wish I would have had more time to put into it. Next year, looking at the, further out, I think there's some things that need to be different. But definitely want to make it an annual event and get it going.
Are you going to have, one thing we've been doing at these town halls is we'll have a list. So we'll have like 12 to 20 people come, right, for gun rights stuff. We'll have a list of things we're going to ask the legislators when they're there, so we don't overlap, right? And everybody has kind of the same piece of paper. Is there any? We're going to do anything like that where like specific bills?
Really, this setting is, and we do that in Pueblo at the same town halls.
Yeah.
Settings, John and I and another gentleman, we all did the same thing with the divide and conquer type thing. This is a little bit more one-on-one, where you're just one or two people in front of a single legislator. So it's just you've got to really be in tune with the elevator speech, because a lot of times they'll be walking to their next meeting, or you'll catch them in their office. So it's going to be really rapid fire. So planning what you're going to ask and stuff like that, a little bit difficult, but yeah, I mean, if somebody has something specific in mind, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be the day after the committee hearing for the national popular vote, so because that happens tomorrow. And,
should we bring our torches?
well, it'll be interesting. I haven't looked into it, but Mr. Pickerel got an email back from one of the Democrats on that particular committee that is a Democrat that has a rural county in her district and plans on being a no vote on the committee. So that may be the swing vote of the committee next week. So,
Mr. Kravitz?
yes.
First of all, the matter of dress code, is it recommended that we wear like business attire? Is there,
Yeah.
is it a no-no to bring, political buttons and?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or dress like Star Child. If you want to make a statement, turn sense.
Yeah, it's business dress. My rule of thumb is they like to, the legislators like to walk around in pomp and circumstances. So my rule of thumb is you want to be on a level playing field, so look your best in front of them. So that's just how I pursue it. So I'll have jacket and tie, and I'll have my shiny name tag on just like them.
Can you at least post in the on Facebook?
Yes.
Maybe like, here's 3 things maybe we should focus on. So the NPV, maybe that bill that they're going to introduce about the hunter safety. I think that's a good one for us. That's a good pro-gun bill.
If you look at our report, there's actually a lot of them in there and stuff that people talk about that are upcoming within the next within February that are interesting and stuff to talk about.
I've got a quick question.
Yes.
How many people are on that committee for the electoral college?
I believe in the House Veterans and State Affairs Committee, that's a 13-member committee. Either 13 or 9, I'll have to go back and look at it. They may have turned it down this year.
The second half of my question was just, I don't know, show of hands of people in this room that expect to be there at some point in time on Wednesday, if not all day.
I'm gonna try to make it, but I'll be later.
Try.
All right. One more thing, Kevin?
If Michael's done, or if there's any other questions for Michael, I'd like to go back and address a question that was asked earlier that I finished.
Okay, you finished, Michael?
I think for now I'm finished.
Okay, Mr. Kravitz?
So to answer David's question, how do they calculate the Freedom Day, Tax Freedom Day? And basically it says here, this is under a sheet called Tax Freedom Day, what it means to you. The Tax Foundation calculates Tax Freedom Day by using the total amount of taxes paid the previous year, considers historical trends, most recent economic data, and makes a projection of the tax burden for the upcoming year. For 2018, the Federation projected $3.4 trillion in federal taxes, $1.8 trillion in state and local. It takes this total of $5.2 trillion, divides it by the total personal income earned by Americans. This ratio is 30%. That means on average, Americans work a third of their lives just to pay their taxes.
Yeah, Social Security wasn't in there, was it?
Social Security is not a tax.
Great. Anything else, Kevin? All right, Mr. Gagey.
I guess the only things to add is I did, as I said, spoke to John Kyle recently, and he has some really interesting ideas for what he wants to do in this little town that he's in. He's looking at potentially running for school board, and it's a dying town where they're really searching for opportunities. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what he can do down there, because Lord knows John Kyle's not a shy person with wanting to say what he wants to say. And then also I spoke to a gentleman named Daryl out in Parachute, as I put in my report, and sent it over to Lance and Steve that he's looking to take over the Garfield Facebook page. And I got a chance to look at the numbers there in Parachute. You know, we run a little bit better than 1% on average for voter registration in the state. And in a town of 1,100 people, not even considering the children and everything, there's almost 40 libertarians registered out there. And they're dealing with some eminent domain issues. And I think there's a good opportunity to gather some libertarians in a room with purpose. So I'm excited about that one.
Mr. Stapleton?
I just wanted to piggyback on the John Kyle thing that with both Steve and Matt. When Mr. Pickerel and I met and discussed our plan of action for Pueblo County, we were talking about one of the House districts that is in Pueblo County also reaches over into Otero County where John's at.
Okay.
So, and then it also goes west of Fremont County. And that's potentially the House seat that I will run for in 2020. And we've already been putting a plan together for that. So Pueblo County will be happy, more than happy to help support John and anything that we need to help build that for that House seat. Because that happens to be one of the, Otero County will happen to be one of the voting blocks in that House district that helped flip that seat, has been helped by a Republican for 7 terms now, and then it finally flipped to a Democrat.
Now it's Democrat?
Yeah. 280 votes.
That's great. Talk about an interesting one to explore, because that's an area that, if you look at geographically, should have gone to Trump if you're looking at that, but it's
especially with Eastern Fremont County.
Yeah, that's really
because
interesting.
It's Eastern Fremont County. It's north. It's north Pueblo West. It's north Pueblo, and then it's in the entire farmland of Pueblo County, east to Otero County. It has everything in Pueblo County north, but nothing to the south of Highway 50.
When I just kind of think about it, I mean, I really can't think of a district that'd be more blue collar and more harmed by the last 30 years of economic policy, really, either. It's, yeah, interesting.
Okay, nothing else, Dad? I have a question for you, sure, Mr. DG. A couple months ago, we decided to do calls to LAPS board members, and I actually have this on an agenda in another place.
LAPS Libertarians, you mean?
LAPS, yes.
Okay.
And people that have left our party. And that didn't materialize because I guess there was a problem here at the Independence Institute. And you indicated that you weren't going to call 1,000 people, and I don't expect you to. How many calls have been made?
We have it scheduled right now with another call, phone banking for the Independence Institute, first Monday in March. Frank and I Williams got that set up with Natalie Menton. So we're going to bring the group exercise together again.
So at this point, no calls have been made?
Not on that one, no. But looking to get that group exercise together, it's very important for me to get these phone bankings together.
Mr. Sacco. Hold on one second. Mr. Gobranson.
A question for Mr. DG. For the benefit of the board, can you give a quick rundown on the success of your last phone banking effort?
Let's see here. So I showed up 6:50, used the 2 codes Frank gave me to get in the door. Neither of them seemed to work. Sat out here, ate pizza for about 20 minutes, and 7:20 I left. About 7:40, Mr. Bennett Rutledge, God bless him, sent me a text, and he had decided to come in. That was the only person that popped in.
You had one person show up for that?
Yeah, Ben ended up, about 20 minutes after I left, so, but he'll be coming out next one.
Maybe it's not a good thing to wait. That's all the participation we're getting. Either that or we have to advertise much more.
Yeah, it'll definitely be in the, I'll get the information for the upcoming email that goes out in the middle of the month. And then we can also shoot it out first of the month email in March. So we'll have 2 shots to hit people there, and also send some specified volunteer emails to the contacts we have on the list.
Lance, is that something you can help promote?
Anytime. Always happy to promote stuff.
You got it.
I just need instruction. Gotta send me an email.
You got it,
Mr. Psycho, your turn.
Nothing to add. Well, we have one new fantastic volunteer. Her name is Maya. She reached out to us, which was great. Just sent me an email. She's down in Colorado Springs, and she's doing a fantastic job on Facebook and Twitter, especially. So I expect the Twitter to grow. But she's got a marketing degree, so I think she'll have it.
Beautiful. Ms. Harless?
I didn't know, you wanted to do something with national numbers, and I didn't know.
Well, the national members, I don't think I have that on the agenda, but we can add it. Oh, you're talking about for, yes, and I didn't bring the t-shirts in.
Well, they're in the car, but, to do an update on the national members and.
Yes.
That's some victims.
Give me a minute here and I'll give you a spot. Okay, Mike is not here.
I had a question for Lance.
Go ahead.
Do you have a representative from each of the active affiliates in the groups to do their local chat?
No, we have.
Is there anybody from Colorado Springs?
Yeah, but El Paso, that's El Paso, right? Their page is already, I don't know, somebody else is already running that one. They're doing a great job at it.
Yeah, it would be beneficial if they were part of your chat group and had that kind of access to the things that you guys are sharing. It's great for us. We post a lot of your stuff on the RAPO page.
Yeah.
Helps us a lot.
I'll look right now and see who the admin is, but I haven't added them. But I should. I think it's a good point. Yeah, it's good. I mean, that chat is really useful because when we have a piece come out from Michael Lopez or any of our writers, man, we're like a media machine now. It just goes out to the state.
And I think that's really cool when you have people that look at multiple affiliate sites, and if they see this issue is important enough that I see it here and I see it here and I see it here, that must be a pretty important.
We got a lot of people when that NPV thing came out. I mean, we had a ton of people emailing legislators about it, and our voice was pretty loud. So, yeah, I'll do that right now.
What's been have you looked and see the reach so far from Jay Stewsbury article in the Chieftain?
Like how many people?
In social media, yeah. That was, he got top billing in the op-ed section in the printed paper.
The Chieftain's our best friend. Have you ever met with that editor?
Yes, John and I.
Blake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met with Blake several times because when I was in Canada, I interviewed for the editorial board, and John has met with Blake several times. They communicate on a regular basis.
Blake will publish anything we put out.
Yeah.
He's incredible. I have a meeting with Westward on.
Yeah,
10
and
Wednesday.
we're actually pretty successful. Last year at the legislative barbecue, myself and John Dickerell circulated. There was 3 Chieftain writers there, and we hit up all 3 of the writers.
Good.
And we have their direct contact information, so if we need to do the political writer, he will usually get something out in front of people if it's important.
Okay, anything else, Lance?
No.
Okay. Mike is not here right now. Ross has his proxy. Did he ask you to add anything to his report?
He did not.
Okay. All right, now we have our standing committees. Technology, do you have anything you want to talk about, Mike?
No, I don't have anything to add. I never got the affiliates list from David. Are you still working on that?
On
the list of
which?
affiliates and their group emails?
Yeah, I can get that to you.
Okay, cool. That'd be great. And then, did Ross ever get back to us, Lance?
About sorry, say it again.
The affiliate
email?
Right? No. It's like fall from the face of the earth. Like,
Who's that?
Ross,
Ross is right.
Oh. Did you get the email that we sent you for the?
To set it up, right?
Yeah, to
Like
set it
we
up.
have an email now, right?
Right.
Oh, you
Yeah, for Jefferson County.
Oh.
Did you get
I think
it?
I sent it to the, it's like @q.com.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe check your spam, or maybe we'll have to resend it, but.
I will definitely look for that. So we have the email, so we can get the Instagram going.
Yep.
Okay,
There was a,
cool.
you had a
Okay.
you had a volunteer there.
That should all be set up, and we can
Okay,
set it
cool.
to multiple accounts from that email.
Awesome. So I will send that out to the person who's going to be doing the Instagram account. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I got somebody lined up to do that. So
cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then just email me
Cool.
if
That's
you have any
good.
more questions.
Okay. I'm sure it's sitting in there somewhere, so I'll find it. It's in the email black hole somewhere.
All right. Yeah, and then if anybody has any questions for me.
Can one of you guys make a tutorial for me to how to send out a mass email with the new system, please?
That's gonna be David. Yeah.
Okay.
Mass meaning what?
I want disposal to be able to send out an email to every single libertarian if I need to.
National wants those to go through me, okay? So you write the email, and
Yeah, but aren't we an independent affiliate?
we're using national services, okay? So we have to play by their rules, and they want all the emails to go through me. So just send it to me, and we'll get it done.
Isn't there a limit on the number of emails we can?
Yes.
Or number of addresses we can do at one?
We can send up to, okay.
Go ahead and give your report. Now that you start, go ahead.
Yeah.
Our limit with SparkPost, which is a service that plugs into Civic CRM, is we are paying for 50,000 emails per month, a maximum of 10,000 per day. We have approximately 7,500 email addresses, so we can do one email blast per day, and that means up to probably 6 statewide emails per month. Now, we can do much smaller batches, up to 50. We can do as many of those as we want, up to our total limit of 50,000 per month. So if for example, we have 2 statewide email blasts per month, that leaves that's 15,000, so we have another 35,000 that we could do. Either several other statewide or bits and pieces here and there, up to 50. So that's the deal on email. National wants those to go through me, and I'll put the email together, and I will check the links this time. So, and then I'll schedule them with the national party. It takes approximately 2 days to get this done. I can, if I send the email to Andy at National on Wednesday, he should have it out by Thursday or Friday at the latest. So that's the story on email. All of the directors have privileges to go in and to create or edit events and post. So if you have an event that needs to be scheduled or updated, you can do that. And you can also do a post. Michael Stapleton, I would suggest that you consider creating a weekly post like POL did.
Okay.
And get those posted as early as possible. And if we want to start doing a weekly statewide email blast, I'm open to that. 4 weeks or 5 weeks, we can still get that under our limit.
Do you have a tutorial or anything that I can go in and look at how to do that?
why don't you give me a call and I'll walk you through it?
Okay.
It's fairly simple.
Okay, excellent.
You want to have a conference call, David, or you want to do this one at a time?
David walked me through it and it was really, really good. And the possibilities with the system, I was blown away with how much more user-friendly it was than Nation Builder and the tools that we have at our disposal. And he did a great job of walking me through the whole thing. So, yeah.
Great.
So, yeah, please call me up. We can set up a time and, take a half an hour or so and kind of walk you through it. And if you have questions, please email me or call me or whatever, and we'll get it squared away. Okay, so I think that's all I have.
Anything else, David? Okay.
You need an assistant.
Next, we have our ad hoc committees. We happen to have the chair of the style committee with us tonight. Mike, would you like to give us your report?
Yeah, pretty short this week. The style committee completed its work on the bylaws on this past Thursday. That completed our work for the year for the platform, constitution, and bylaws. Previously, the Constitution and the platform have been emailed to the board for review prior to ratification. Bylaws were sent up Saturday. They also were sent up again this evening. Right now, the platform committee is waiting on ratification so the hearing can adjust the proposal accordingly. Constitution and bylaws are similar. We haven't started over yet because we had to get things organized. I've been sick for the month. So I'm here to ask the board to really get this expedited so we can get into our work.
Thank you, Mike. Platform committee.
I have a question though. Mike made a request, but I'm feeling that go up there's some kind of commitment as to, because we both need this approval of you guys.
Would you say that one more time, Mike, so that we understand exactly what your request is?
The changes for the style committee are ready for review and approval by the board. But both platform committee and constitution and bylaws committee need that approval to adjust our proposals for our reports accordingly. Right now, our draft proposals reflect the proposed changes from the style committee. But until they're finalized, the wording of those proposals can't be accurate. We need that accomplished so we can get it to be accurate for our reports to the convention.
So you're waiting on constitution and bylaws at this point?
And platform, yes, all three.
And platform.
It's waiting for us to move to approve them.
I think
Board needs to exercise their oversight, ratify, reject, or
You make sure that email is sent out one more time, Mike. I hate to ask you to do that.
he's here. We did it earlier when you were.
Yeah, it's on
Well,
there.
for the constitution and bylaws,
Yes.
did you do for platform as well?
yes, all three.
You did, okay. Guys, I'd encourage everybody to read your emails. We can go ahead and do this by email opinions. I don't see any reason we have to address that here tonight because we don't have the reports in front of us.
We want to set a deadline.
Yeah.
You want to set up some
Deadline and-
format where maybe we have email discussion over X number of days and then we have a final vote at some
Yeah.
point?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and send that out. I'll send that out tomorrow. Ms. Charles?
Y'all can do what you like, but I don't think you realize there's a lot of style changes. If anyone has any disagreement, there is no way this is happening over email. So my suggestion, and y'all can do with it as you will, is set up an electronic meeting, maybe a week and a half from now, where you guys can just do that and go through it. It's too bulky to be effectively done over email, unless everyone just wants to rubber stamp what the style committee did.
Well, I'm perfectly fine with that. Do we have any objections to setting up a meeting, electronic meeting?
They make a recommendation, you just set it up for a week from the date.
Okay.
I would just like to point out that doing it by email doesn't require everybody to be one
In the
place
same
at one
place at one
time.
time.
Well, I haven't seen it yet. So I saw the platform. I haven't seen the constitution bylaw.
This could be a Zoom meeting. Do it from home. And you're in
Well, still.
Yeah, but you still have to set time. You have to be there at the same time.
Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and set it up for 7 o'clock next Monday. Please take the time to review everything that's been proposed before the meeting. Mr. Gigi?
This is kind of connected, kind of loose, but just want everyone to look at the website. And I was trying to look for something today and I couldn't come up with it because when I go in there, hover over Libertarian Party, see news, platform, leadership, affiliates, elected officials. I don't see bylaws in there. I can't find our bylaws in the header of
Yeah,
the
you have to go
website.
all the way to the bottom of that. Yeah.
Basically, the menu structure is at the end of the page. In fact, it's something, I brought this up once before, all of the board emails are available down there.
Down the board records, yeah.
All of the little jabs back and forth that we put out there are for the long season.
I just would like to throw out there, just on recommendation for the website, that maybe that should be in that same header below platform and all that.
David and I
readily
already talked about
available.
Sorry, I already have an engagement at 7 o'clock on Monday next week, and I will not be able to attend electronically, but.
Well, there's, with a last minute meeting like this, we're not gonna be able to have everybody.
Okay.
Just a recommendation, if you can't, for one reason or another, we've got time between now and then, review, submit your notes in advance.
Okay, will
And
do.
those that are on the call, be swayed by your judgment.
Mr. Seebeck?
Please CC me on that meeting, so I can answer it.
Yep. Thank you. All right, legislative committee.
I have a draft agenda for a meeting I'm going to try to schedule for Sunday the 16th in the afternoon. Hopefully the people who volunteered are available. We picked up a new volunteer from the Douglas County meeting, and the event Saturday night from the Center for Natural Law, Greg LaPointe, who has worked as a lobbyist, and now he's willing to volunteer to help me be a face at the state capitol as well. He's in the Denver metro area, he, as well as Kevin, are putting the thumb in my back to get my together to get. Greg's contacted me twice today, so.
He's a go-getter, isn't he?
Yes. So, yes, I'm trying to, I'm just gonna have to skip lunch and work with these dates.
Greg is actually
But I'm excited to have him on board, and I'm gonna have to definitely work with him going through the process and the LP Colorado platform and stuff as we apply it, but it's gonna be a very, very valuable resource for me, the committee, and the party as well.
Carlos?
He wanted something from me. Can you forward me his email?
Yes.
And I didn't know if you forgot about that.
I can't hear you.
We're not in the business yet.
Okay.
But just make a point about Greg. He told us that he is a new returning libertarian. He was a libertarian early in his revolutionary revolting days, and has been a Republican for the last 30-some years, and just changed his party affiliation to Libertarian about 3 months ago. He's pumped. I mean, he says, I don't know why his natural law group that he runs, he says, I don't know why every Catholic church in the country doesn't scream from the pulpit that your libertarian ideals are the only thing that's going to keep this country from going down the tubes. He is psyched. And he is a licensed lobbyist.
Yes. Before we go to the next report, Ms. Harless, you want to go ahead and talk to us about national membership, since I forgot about you?
Well, yes, I thought you wanted to do it before all the other stuff.
I did, I forgot.
So for the board's reference, we are still at number 11, but we're catching up to Michigan. I think we're like about 4 away, but that's assuming they've stayed still, and I don't want to assume that, well, maybe we can, but we're still underneath. We need to get back to where we were before, and we were always hovering between 9 and 10 before. This is not just a point of, bragging rights. roosters strutting or anything like that. The top 10 affiliates get extra benefits from national, including seats on the National Platform Committee and more delegates at convention. And we completely forfeited that. We've had that place and we let it go. So to that end, I see we do have some new people that expressed exuberant interest. We would really, really love for you to join the National Party. The dues are $25 a year, but I have a free t-shirt in it for you, so it's basically free. I have long sleeve, it's magical, it will get you even more involved. And if you're not a national member now, please see me at some point in this meeting and sign up, and I'll get you, the shirts are in our trunk. We're like dealing in the Libertarian shirts out of our trunk, so it's quite sketchy. And if there's any board members whose membership's about to expire, please renew. I haven't taken a look at those expiration dates, but it's really important that yours is about to.
No, my expiration date will be posted on my tombstone.
I'm a lifer too. And so between Wayne and I, how many have we signed up?
It had to be about 28, because I got 22 myself. You got me.
Okay. Oh, so you're already a member?
I'm with him, though.
Yeah.
You already got the national membership?
Yes, you sold me this shirt.
Oh, I'm sure I did. I did have everybody, so you must have got, you already got me.
Yes.
So now we're zoning in on one victim. Okay.
I was actually interested, is that purely based on number of registered libertarians, or is that also based on number of elected officials?
None of it.
Who's paying members to national?
Okay, who's paying $25 to
Right.
national? So, okay.
So national membership's completely separate from registration.
Okay.
Or elected officials or anything like that. There are people who, we don't like that, like Mr. Frank Atwood, who would be a national member and then registered somebody else, Boo Hiss. I mean, we'd like you to do both, but those are two separate concepts. So it is based upon population and registered national members. Both are delegate allocation, and these platform seats count on that. However, the delegate allocation is a formula not just between the national members, but also the last vote percentage that Gary Johnson got in the last race, which he did well in Colorado. So we're positioned to have a good delegate count for 2020, as long as we keep our national members up.
Okay, how many national members do we have to make the top 10 from where it stands right now?
Well, if Michigan had stayed still, which we can't assume, but let's just say that, I need about 5 more.
Okay.
Just to add on to Karen Ann, unfortunately, in this free country we live in, there are states where registering as a libertarian to vote is not an option. So the National Party can't look at registered voters by state.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, to add on that, there's somewhere you can register as a Republican or Democrat, not as a Libertarian, but that's not only it. Some states don't have partisan registration. And for people who've only lived in partisan states, that sounds odd. And everyone who's only lived in ones where you can't vote, we seem odd. But there's about, I think, 16 states where nobody registers as a partisan. Not Democrat, not Republican, nothing.
Okay, and in those states, can people register to the National Party or not at all?
Yes.
They can join the National Party because that's a private club, basically.
Okay. No, thank you.
Okay, campaigns. Not campaigns, I'm sorry.
Yes, campaigns.
Convention. You've already done
Done?
that. Or did you?
Not campaigns committee.
Not campaigns committee.
Go ahead.
So we had been talking about in the campaigns committee about getting some possible speakers to come in and do some training. I saw the schedule that Matt had handed out tonight, and it doesn't look like we will be able to get those people in at this late stage. So I don't have any suggestions at this point for candidate and campaign support training for convention.
Who was on the schedule for that?
Oh, well, Matt has the schedule that I just had a question. When you're talking about the training, you're talking about training at the convention. I think we have a lot of people that we can probably tap that know stuff about campaigning. People that have been treasurers and stuff like that. I think we could easily have bunch of training at the convention.
Okay, we had some people proposed in that meeting that we were going to reach out to for a spot, and now it looks like
they're
we
not
don't
available?
have a spot.
Oh, well, yeah, a spot.
Well, there's, where there would be, if you're talking campaigns directly related, is that you still have the campaigns 101 that someone needs to put on. You have tracer training that needs to be put on, and you have social media campaign training that needs to be done. Those are on the schedule.
Okay, but this would have been nice to have had in the meeting where I invited you to come in and talk to us about what Robin was going to be talking about, so that we could coordinate speakers to fill in the gaps that he wasn't covering.
I completely missed that email, Kim.
It wasn't an email, it was a conversation that you and I had on the phone.
Oh.
Where I had said to you, I know that you've stepped down from the campaigns committee, but could you please come and speak to the campaigns committee about the convention so that we can get this training set up? And I'm a little cheesed off about it.
Oh, I understand. I honestly, Kim, the only thing I recall from that is that we discussed that everything was covered because of Robin coming in on that. I thought that was what we had discussed, so yeah, my apologies.
No, that wasn't what we discussed at all. It was can you please come and tell the campaigns committee what Robin is going to be talking about, because we do want to have training so that people who are running for local elections and statewide elections next year can get the training and the tools that they need to consider running, so that we're not trying to cram all of that into next year's conventions, that we were using this convention as a training ground for campaign staff, campaign managers, treasurers, PR people, as well as for candidates themselves. So
You already scheduled your next call. Was that this coming Sunday or the Sunday?
no, the next one is
24th?
I want to say something like that, the 24th.
For our next meeting?
Yes, campaigns committee meeting is the Sunday, the 24th of February at 3 p.m.
And on to that, Kara Schultz, who runs a call from National. I participated in the last call. I've got some notes from that I can forward to you.
Yep.
It's an excellent call. She's got a whole structure of stuff that's set up on the website that any one of us could access and use as a resource. So we should put that together in some format that we can advise people what's going on.
Mr. Stapleton?
Are there seminar spots available for these campaign seminars?
Yeah.
Will there be seminars?
You should.
Because I totally agree with Ken. We don't need to be waiting till the next convention when we're getting ready to go into a general election cycle. We need to do this kind of stuff this convention, preparing 2018 months out.
So, which is, again, one of the things I really wanted to have you on the call for, Matt, because I wanted to know what spots were available. I didn't have any information about schedule or anything else. And I just feel like now we're running behind and playing catch up, and I'm...
My apologies. Ms. Harlows?
Well, are we on convention? I didn't know where we were at.
Not yet.
Campaigns.
Okay, when I don't want to just keep going with this, so just so I have stuff when you're at that.
Spoke?
What I was going to say has a lot to do with the scheduling and stuff, and I think having done so many conventions, the tentative schedule says business here, seminars here, seminars here. We don't fill in what's going to go in those seminars necessarily because we don't know. There's no way you can know what speakers you're going to have available when. You set aside time for seminars, but honestly, when I did the 2008 convention, the national convention, I didn't know what speaker was going to be speaking at one time until 2 days before the convention because we were constantly juggling to make sure that somebody's flight was going out here and that. So I don't know what Matt's schedule is. I sent him a tentative schedule, and in that schedule there is plenty of time for seminars. There's seminars for things that are philosophy and training, and I have a time for a photographer. I have a time for each one of the possible training things. Do we have a speaker for that yet? That's Matt's thing. I just set up a tentative schedule that left room for that. So I can't say anything about what the schedule actually looks like, just what I sent him, and that's what I proposed to him, is that there's plenty of time for training.
It's available on our sheets for anyone who wants to look at it now. We basically moved into convention committee at this point in time, so I could just start addressing some of these things because it feels like I just need to start going through this so everybody catches up with me.
Policy manual. Anything else, Kim? Is this something that you can get scheduled right now so that Kim has a spot to do the work that she plans to do? Schedule the training that she needs to do?
There are slots available. They're for the campaign stuff, for campaign management, for Tracer, for social media management. Those slots are available.
So it's in the drive?
It's you go into Google Sheets. Yes, the convention program schedule is in there. The only people that really work on it are myself and Beatrice, or just to keep it easy. So here's the basic idea behind it. I'll just get so we Frank Atwood and Blake are happy donating $1,200 to bring Robin Corner out here. How many people had a chance to see him at National for any of his seminars?
Okay, well, let's stay focused here, Matt. The question was, is there room for to accommodate Kim's needs?
Yes, and this is the specific to address that, and this is very, very important. And one of the biggest things I wanted to focus on when it came to planning out this convention is where we have made big mistakes in the past. Is that we have too many things scheduled at once. We waste money, we waste meals, we don't give people enough respect so that they can have a broad enough platform for what they're doing. So my goal with everything that I was doing on this is to set it up so that there is essentially no campaign training going up against when Robin's doing campaign training. When Robin is doing his marketing seminar on Saturday afternoon, there's not going to be any marketing going up against it. I want to make sure that anyone that wants to focus on a campaign can be able to do that when they go in there. And if they want to focus on marketing, they can do that there. And they'll be able to do that in the afternoons after business, getting all of Robin's teachings. That's the idea behind it. I do not want to overbook. I want everyone to have the widest audience so they get a chance because we spend money.
Ms. Reynolds?
Just a question. You said it's in Sheets. Where? What's the name of it?
If you search in Sheets, should be 2019 convention, and if you don't have access, I'll check and see if the access is different. I'll make sure fundraising will get in there.
2019?
Yes, just type 2019 and you should find something.
I see 2018, I see.
Well, then I'm going to have to look for it and I'll give you access. You might not have access to it.
Everyone on the board should have access.
Don't necessarily know if the sheets work that way on all of them. So I will have to do that. So I can get you access though. It exists.
So basically, if I go in here, go into Sheets.
Yes, it is in Sheets. If I have, do I have to screenshot this for everybody? Like seriously, do I need to get into my computer and open it up and say Sheets, schedule? Are we board directors? Are we here to direct? Or are we here to be babysat?
That's enough. She's asking for help. This is her first meeting she's ever been to.
I'm asking a
Back
question.
off.
Where is it?
It's in Sheets.
Okay, I'm there. What's the name of it?
It should be a 2019 convention. Should find you in a search. If it doesn't, you might not have access, and I will figure it out.
Anything else, Kim? Policy Manual Committee, do we have anything?
No, I had said.
I didn't see your hand up. Go ahead.
We're not done with, we haven't
Well, no,
got
but
to
Matt had said, why don't we just go on to convention report so he could address.
Are we going to go? Are we just going to go into convention report?
Well, we still have the policy manual to go through, and then we'll go to convention. We have anything for the policy manual? What's the status on the policy manual committee?
There is a report on the drive. I can summarize it quickly. It's boilerplate. The members are Karen Ann Harlos, Richard Longstreth, and myself. We had a meeting last Friday, and we're having a meeting this coming Friday. And we're doing okay. We're making good progress finally. And if you want to read it, I mean, there's
Thank you, John.
a lot of water.
Our goals have it done by convention.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. All right, now we have the bylaw mandated, and that would be the convention committee. All right, now, go ahead.
I think I explained my position on where everything is scheduled the way it is. In my report, I've broken down a fair bit of where we're at with the numbers. I feel like we're in pretty good shape. My worst fears were confirmed. There are mistakes happening from the CRM with National, with the receipts and the processing when people go to purchase. That is why I have chosen to keep the sales of the sponsorships to something that somebody can whoever wants it, I'll get all this information out to them. They can just go to donate and put in the notes that it's for a package. That way it bypasses everything that's happening that I have to deal with at the national level. Goes straight to John. Don't have to worry about it.
Has the call started for that yet?
They are going to. That is completed. You have seen the final draft on it on the in your email that I just sent to the board at 5:55, whatever it was. So Victoria's offered to help with that. She's going to get a list of the previous convention sales. That's something that I did when I was a fundraising director. My main focus was on the sales of the convention tables, etc. Michelle is cracking up, is finishing up the letter to the presidential candidates. It looks like at least Berman wants to come. I called Arvin Vora. He didn't call me back. That's just beautiful campaigning. What else? I don't know. What more do you want to know?
Well, I'm going to start.
Oh, the one thing I haven't been able to do is give Steve Francine because I need to find a full day that I can get down there because it takes a day of my life to go down to the springs.
Ms. Harlow?
Well, board members.
Question for campaigns. So we've got a lineup of speakers.
Yes.
Typically with conventions to help draw in people to conventions. National did it. Other conventions outside the party do it. Once they book a speaker and that speaker's confirmed, they get an announcement out on social media or email. Yep. Have we prepared announcements and graphics for each one of those speakers to have communications roll those out?
Eric's working the graphics.
Okay, because some people are waiting before they buy a ticket till they actually see who the speakers are.
Cool. Yeah.
So if we could get those start rolling out now,
yep.
As they announce, Tom Arnold, Robin Corner. I mean, if we get that out and get it started shared on the state page, the affiliates share, we may see an uptick in convention registrations. But those need to be rolling. We book one, it gets rolled out.
I appreciate the
so that way we just that's out in front of people and generate some excitement. That way we're not just advertising a convention and not.
Yeah, it's just not the business, it's
right.
an event, yeah.
Right.
And Eric's getting those graphics going and we'll get those fired away here soon. Yeah, I certainly understand you're out there. I think we do have a good lineup going right now. I think we got it squared away. And so that'll be going out. Something that I want people to do.
Do you have an idea where the first one can get? We can get the first one rolled out.
Eric, what do you think? We can get the first graphics. We can get the promotionals out by middle of this week. Maybe
I've got D-Franks done, so I should have some done by the end of the week.
Thank you.
Just give me a complete list of who's coming.
Yep, I think we have that except for Saturday right now. And Saturday I'll have by Friday or Wednesday. One thing that people should do, I believe, in your particular areas is I think that we should all reach out to some local groups like nonpartisan, like Tea Party groups and stuff like that, especially with Tom Cranwitter Saturday morning. I think, some El Paso conservative, libertarian-ish people would definitely like Dr. Cranwitter. We can sell some extra tickets there. I think that if we are able to book the comedian, I think an interesting play we can do here, and I looked at some rates when I was doing Eric's campaign, and they're not too bad. And we can potentially do some radio advertisements about the comedian and sell tickets just ad hoc for him, and pick up some of that extra cost on that. Yeah, that's about what I know. And Wayne, thank you for putting together the notes I messed up with the committees. I appreciate you getting that over to Mike Seebeck. I made a mistake on that. I certainly appreciate you picking up that slack, sir.
Mr. Ecken?
One other place to roll out those speakers is on the website.
Yeah, with that developed graphic, hopefully, I don't know how to do it. Eric, do you know how to do HTML paging? Okay. We'll work on that.
Okay.
Charles?
I scribbled notes. It might not be as organized as I'd like.
Fire away, Karen.
Okay. Some of my general concerns is like looking at the report. I have no idea what it means. There's a bunch of numbers, but like I've been on the board and I don't know what it means. I can't imagine a member knowing what it means. Like, what was our budget? Where are we at? It makes absolutely no sense to me, like financially wise, what's going on with that. That this is just, I'm going to shoot out a bunch of general stuff. So it seems to me things are like very vague, and there's like no times for anything. Business isn't mentioned on here. I noticed a debate on here that concerned me right away. I wanted to know if that went through the board or some kind of voting process, because in the past we have tried to not have interfactional battles. And I see a debate here, pragmatism versus radicalism. I think that's a terrible idea, but even if you decide to do it, that's a complete misrepresentation of the disagreement, because radicals are not opposed to pragmatists. And I was just wondering how that ended.
Do you want to be in the debate?
Well, let's go through it. I'm just saying that I would prefer not having any debate like that. I think it's very divisive.
And it does have to go through the committee still. This is me filling in some slots right now there that I still do need to get some.
Well, I'm just addressing my
yes,
concern.
I appreciate your points.
I understood there's a scheduled spreadsheet in the drive, but
yes, ma'am.
Roger, Barris, and myself over the past 2 years developed the whole convention planning workbook. It wasn't just the schedule. Every single bit has a tab in the workbook, and I haven't heard of that being.
No, yeah, the workbook, the one that I've used in the years past, where we keep track of sponsorships and credentialing, whether they be paid or otherwise. Yes, that's all in that same spreadsheet, Karen Ann.
Okay.
You're a national member or a national rep, so I assume I could trust you if I gave you access to it, or the chair. But yeah, that's on there. Beatrice Sutton is my right hand person on that one, magnificent as always, and she'll be my majority managing that. But yeah, the schedule and everything is up there with the delegate credentialing, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, because I know Roger developed it even further. So
yes, yes.
I know for myself, and I'm pretty sure with Mr. Seebeck, we're both business chairs and platform or whatever.
Yes.
No one's ever gotten with us about what we need, what order we might want, and that's kind of important.
What order elaborate, Karen Ann? I'm sorry.
Bylaws to me indicated a preference that he would like the platform to go first.
Oh, as far as the business scheduling.
Yeah, and how much time
is it basically just think it's going to take up a larger bulk there, Mike?
Constitution bylaws probably.
Okay, so you think it's best to get that on so we can get that taken care of. Your preference.
You want to skate through the easy stuff first.
Oh, God bless
really,
you, sir.
the convention plan needs to be intimately involved with the chairs. The business committee chairs know what's coming up. General concern on the website, I think other people have mentioned, and I know this is kind of like we switched. It's a bad time to switch, but the convention stuff's nowhere like prominent. You got to go searching for it, and that doesn't make it easy for people. And
what do you mean as far as prominent?
Like when and I don't know if we can do this on this page, so I'm speaking a little bit out of my rear because I'm talking about Nation Builder, but we had a splash page last year. You went to LP Colorado, boom, it pulled up the convention. You had to click through to go to the regular site. It was in your face. And members now are looking for, where's the proposed schedule? When can we expect convention reports? And none of that information's there. They feel like we don't know what we're doing. And to that line, though, I have another concern, is we had to change our convention because of missed bylaws dates. There's another bylaws date that I don't see any mention of it in here. And I'm getting the impression that it's not on anyone's radar, and I'm not even on the board, and I know about a bylaws convention related date that we're gonna blow.
Why don't you let us know what it is?
Well, I can, and I will make sure you don't blow it, but that shouldn't be my job after we've already blown a deadline.
I appreciate knowing it. I mean, anything that we could know is great. I mean, if we would have had a heads up before that first one, we would have saved $20 plus on the hotel room,
Lucky that I looked at
etc.
the bylaws that day. It isn't like I kept it in my back pocket for a gotcha. I just happened to be looking that day. And the problem I have is I don't want you guys relying on me. I know of one more bylaws date coming up, but there could be more that I didn't catch. And it just really concerns me that bylaws seem to just be like the Pirates Code here. They're not rules, they're suggestions, and that's not really the way it should be.
He definitely is a bylaws nerd on the board, Karen, and I wouldn't dispute that.
Other volunteers, has anyone spoken with Dee or some of our hardcore volunteers that are like the credentialing ninjas?
They weren't anyone that I believe sent me over applications, but if you would like to forward me anyone's name who you think has been valuable.
Dee is the ninja.
Yeah, anyone who's been valuable to you in the past, Karen Ann, shoot over their name for me, and I'll see where they can't be utilized.
Along that lines, I see volunteers for standing rules. That's like not really how it works. The standing rules is an appointed committee by the board. It's not a volunteer thing, and it's not just people who want to do it. No offense to you, Matt, but do you have any experience with standing rules? I see you there, and that's fine if you'd like to learn to, but this standing rules is no joke. It should be experienced people who have chaired bylaws committees or have great experience in bylaws. This isn't just everyone raise your hand. So this is a committee that should have been appointed already. That's like a big deal. Again, I'm just going through my notes.
Yeah. And on that effect, I think there was, when I went through searching through documentation, Karen Ann, I found the standing rules from 2016, and they looked pretty strong. So I think that they might be something that could just be generally replicated. I do believe we need an odd number for a committee, correct or incorrect, unless you have a chair who chooses to abstain.
Well, this is where communication with the bylaws chair and the platform chair would be extremely valuable. Is the bylaws committee last year made a recommendation, and it was that the bylaws committee also be the standing rules committee, because we are going to be proposing, just like national, making the standing rules part of the bylaws so they do not have to be created each year. That's just, it's odd. Why do we do that? If you notice at national, you got bylaws and standing rules, and those are just the standing rules, and we would like to do that this year. So, but nobody ever really got with us, but that's my suggestion to the board, that it appoints the current bylaws committee also as the standing rules committee, and that will have qualified people who know what they're doing with that. Just a strange question here. This is just off the wall. This thing with Risa, did she give you the topic of messaging?
I'd have to look in my messages, but we talked
I
to her.
can get with whoever later, but
Oh no, I'm in contact with her. We're good on that.
Risa, she might not have thought of this, she might not be comfortable with it, but Risa has a very powerful message about bullying in this party and about how women are made to feel unwelcome.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not scared to talk about it. And I think there would be a lot of guys' eyes opened. And we're mostly men in this party, not me, obviously not me, but I think it's something that needs to be heard. And Risa is very good with that, because what she's gone through is horrific. And if she's comfortable, I really think this would be valuable, because we got a toxic culture with sexual harassment and things like that in this party.
I'll bring that up with her specifically and see if she'd like to take that with her slot.
And let me see. Speaker vote totals. I see Arnold 3-0, Cranwood 3-0, Robinson 5. What do those numbers mean?
Yay, nay.
Yay, nay, what?
Yay, nay, as far as accepting
the committee votes, accepting them as a speaker.
There was a committee meeting?
These were all done. These are email votes, Karen Ann. The funny thing is, so I said, and glad you addressed this. So I sent out the emails on these to people so that then give them, get 72 hours to think about the decision, the dollars, do some extra research if they care to, and not even nearly the entire committee gets back to me by the time that deadline happens. I get more responses after my vote deadline than I actually get on the votes themselves. It's kind of funny, but they all get the information.
I know I'm gonna sound terrible here, but because I brought this up like 4 months. Our email votes, just like the board, are not to be in secret. And it's not that you're intending to be in secret, but I'm a member. I've been asking about this for 4 months, and this is the first I've seen of it. I may have had comments to the convention committee before they voted on this. So this is completely opaque, and it is against our transparency policy. There should be public meetings in which members, you see, other people might think I'm just being a complete wallbuster about this stuff, and I'd like to explain why. Convention is more than half of our annual budget. And as a member, I'm concerned about that. Because I am of the opinion that I know some people disagree. I'm of the opinion that these extravaganzas that we do are foolish. So of course I'm coming as a point of a critic, where I like to be a little bit of a watchdog because I think we're wasting donor money. I've said that years and years, and I know there's arguments on both sides. But I've been this isn't just to be a pain in the ass to be a pain in the ass. This is as a member who thinks we've been doing conventions wrong. So I've wanted this information, and now I'm like, and it's too late to really do anything about it. And I feel like I'm not very happy about that.
That may be something to, as far as on the technology end. I've been doing this just because it makes my life simpler, just out of my membership director account. That way I don't have to even deal with the convention account. I have a state board email. I can access my documents. Maybe the thing that we need to do in the future, Karen Ann, is to make sure that we always use the convention chair email and that we make that a transparent chain, just like the board emails are. Do you think that that might suffice?
Oh, that definitely would, but from what I understand, there's been no in-person meetings, like formal in-person meetings.
I'm going to phone call on February 27th. I think that's a Wednesday, to go over some direct volunteer things that are going on to get everybody on the same page for what we need. If you would like to listen into that phone call, I will gladly include you on the email regarding what that setup will be. Is that to your preference, Karen Ann?
But yeah, it's not just me though. There could be somebody out there that you don't know that's being quiet, that is waiting to see emails. Now I'm going to move a little bit beyond convention, just in general. When I set up my first platform committee meeting, I sent the email out to the board saying, this is when it is, can you please advertise it? And no one did a damn thing about it. I'm not on the board. I can't advertise those things. We're not taking our transparency and member participation seriously. You're going to get your next board members from the one curious person like this gentleman that comes and wants to be involved. But unless it's put right in front of their face, they don't know how to. There's people who want to attend these meetings and become educated and trained. We can't keep it this close to our chest. So I stopped emailing the board about my platform committee meetings because apparently it didn't matter. But I would like for the bylaws committee for it to be open. We want members of the public there and to get engaged, to make it that this is their party, not some little clique. It's so easy to be that when they're a small and solo group. And I think that's enough comments. Thank you.
May I add something to that on the value of transparency? So a fellow in my hometown, Ray Dalio, founded a hedge fund called Bridgewater & Associates. It's the most successful hedge fund of all time. They manage $100 billion. And they have this culture at the company, it's based in New York, of radical transparency. So every conversation is recorded. So if your manager has a conversation with their boss about you, you can go listen to that conversation and see what they had to say. And it gets rid of a lot of this sort of like things getting lost in the telephone game. And it's actually proven to be very, very successful for them. And they have very much blown everybody else out of the water in the hedge fund game. So I think that for me, I'm 24 years old right now, and I think that people who are in my relative few years, there's a lot of us here. I think that's kind of what we're seeking is transparency in politics, and I think that that's the way to really move things forward. I think that will really spark a fire with young people right now.
Here.
Just a quick question. Didn't the CMB and platform stuff, didn't that go out in the LPCO events? Some notices about.
The state convention is on the top of the homepage.
Top header.
Yeah.
Very top.
First
thing.
Okay. No, I just meant the emails that you send out, though. I thought those had notices about the platform and bylaws committees. I remember seeing them. I'm not sure if it was every meeting.
Yeah, when we called for people, that went out by email.
Okay.
I don't know if the other meetings.
Right.
I'd just like to address, transparency is a big thing in the LP. Okay, and I'm on the national committee and I'm a radical transparency person. So I'm totally on board with you that. And Colorado Party is at the forefront, I think. There might be another few state parties that are just as dedicated to it. So that's why I kind of get a little bit lathered up about it, because this is a core value that we agreed to about 1.5 years ago of transparency. But it's not because we think necessarily we're doing something wrong, though you could be. I tell you, watch the LNC, don't trust us for a second. But more importantly, though, it's the way you get people involved, where they feel like they're welcome to come in the conversation. Because that's how I ended up on the LNC, only being in the party 3 years, because the list was transparent. I felt like I was part of the process, that I could discuss the votes. And we want other people to feel in this party that way, because the next national chair or the next Libertarian candidate for president could be here. And they need to get in these, looped in, because a lot of times people feel like it's a club, and it's so-and-so knows so-and-so knows so-and-so. I've never been in politics. You got to welcome them in, and particularly where I was talking like with Risa, women particularly, you need to do that too. In order if we're going to draw female participation, which we need more of in our party, we need to be more welcoming and enabling and communal's not the right word, but working cooperatively.
That's why we need to start a Libertarian Ladies of Colorado group, but that's another conversation for another day.
Mr. Eckenwoman's cause.
Back in, I think, October or whenever it was, and we were discussing about the convention date and we blew the deadline, I put together a spreadsheet which calculates the convention dates, and I turned it over to our records director, Mike Spalding, and I also suggested that these dates be published in the agenda for the board meeting. I don't know what happened to that.
I don't remember seeing that one, dude.
I remember seeing the email. I probably still have it on my.
I remember being
inbox.
discussed in a meeting. I was at the meeting, and I believe David discussed that. And I thought what was resolved, and I'll tell you this is what they do on national, it's in the secretary's report here, the records director. But this, you can't be sticking random things on the agenda because it's not an agenda item. It would be in the report of the director that's responsible for oversight of that. So if anyone looked at my national secretary's report, there are standard headings. This is what's coming up. These are committees that need to be populated. This is what I need to bug the hell out of Nick for. These are our vote things. And all of our reports, when I say all of our, I mean everybody involved in Libertarian Party leadership should be like that. It helps to have a report with standard headings. And if you have nothing for that time, you go, none. But at least you know you didn't miss it.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt on the report? Mr. Evandale?
Why wasn't the stuff published on the website? Why wasn't it put out when everybody else put their reports out?
There's so much stuff that I have going on with it, and my day that I have set aside in my life to get a lot of things accomplished is Monday. So that report would have been incomplete regardless when that happened. It was up to the point of the committee meeting. I do a lot of stuff on Mondays, and that is what we saw there. I'm sorry that it's not available for everyone to see when they wanted it to, but it is a constant work in progress. and it gets put up at the last minute.
You're telling us you weren't able to get the convention committee report up in time because you have other commitments, man?
No, Monday I had set aside so that I can get caught up on things that I need to get caught up on. And so everything that I needed to do on that convention committee report ended up happening today. I had some other stuff that was on there previously that I worked on, but as far as what happened with my schedule and where I could really dig into how I wanted to put that report together, that happened today. Monday is a day that I have where I can dedicate to LPCO stuff.
Okay, this didn't get on the website because it wasn't posted in time.
Yes, correct.
We've had this conversation before.
Yes, with the board
about the importance of having the board reports and the convention committee report and all the subcommittee reports that are responsible for money to be posted at the same time as the membership or the officers' board reports. We've had this conversation before. Now, it was great to have you at the meeting that Michelle gave such a great presentation. But it seems like your priorities are not focused towards this. The importance of getting this posted on the website, David actually requested it. He requested it the Monday before. So if you needed a Monday, because that's a free day, why didn't you put it up a week before?
Some things I was working on, Wayne. It's like this is the convention is very much a living thing that's always changing. And I apologize that it wasn't up there for everyone to take a view at it earlier, but I put together a lot of the numbers and I got pretty much all the things together that you wanted to see together. And that's when I was able to get that together. I understand the function of the deadlines, but I feel confident in where the committee is right now. I know there's rumblings of wanting to have me removed, and if somebody wants that headache, oh my God, go for it. I can then use my time to focus on other things.
Maybe you would be better served to do that. Would you like to turn in your resignation now?
Nope.
Is that what you said?
Nope. I would prefer to go on with this because I know I can handle it and I like the product that's coming together. But if you believe that you need to take a vote on it, that is up to you.
We have a motion. John?
A motion, but I do have a comment. I didn't know where to find the schedule for the convention until just now.
Yeah.
I didn't see any email to direct me to what the schedule is. Had people ask me what's going on, what day do I want to go, and I couldn't tell them because I had no clue. And I think when the rules are, you get your report in on Wednesday, and that's nobody stuttered. That's the deadline. I don't see where if you want to do it on Monday, it's really an acceptable excuse.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. Yeah. No, I totally understand. I totally understand. It would have been presented with addendum tonight regardless, because there were some things I would have been working on through the weekend that would need to be presented to the board.
Michael, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, I mean, I was just going to piggyback on what John was saying, because we've had people, especially those of us in southern Colorado and the convention being held in Colorado Springs, we've had people asking about events and asking about speakers and stuff in Pueblo County, going to the website, looking for it, not finding it there. I know Mr. Pickerel has taken a call from a couple people. We have people from outside of the party that are potentially interested in becoming party members, and they want to use the convention as their maybe to satisfy their curiosities, but you know what they're looking for information to help guide them there more than just what John and I can verbally give them. So it's stuff that needs to get up and to the website and really get it out there, because we're really, we're middle of February already, so we've got, what, 2.5 months? So it's 2.5 months seems like a lot of time, but it's gonna fly by. It's gonna fly by. And I don't want to be playing, I don't want to be playing from behind, trying to, 2 weeks out from convention, solicit people, beg and borrow to get them to come to our convention.
No, and I've done this in years past, and I know where we're at comparatively in years past on some of the things getting up, etc. The only thing I really thought that we were lacking was a Saturday night, and hopefully the committee approves the vote for that comedian. But then we have our full slot at that point in time. Eric's working on the graphics. We should be able to put that up, and we should have a nice quality looking landing page. I'd like to think within 7 to 10 days, Michael.
Kieran?
This is as a member just speaking to the entire board, not to the membership director, not to the convention chair, not to the entire board. It's get real time. I'm telling you as a member, I'm disappointed in the entire board because I do not think this convention has been handled properly. Really don't. And I'm totally not confident right now that it's handled properly. And that's not all on one person. It's not. It can't be all put on one person. And I think everyone's just kind of done this. And you can't do that. So personally as a member, and I know you all know me, so it gets a little difficult, familiarity breeds contempt, but treat me like a stranger right now. I'm not happy with the functioning of this board with over half of our budget. Just letting y'all know that, and I don't think it's on track now. I don't. You guys might, I don't.
At this point, I don't either. Mostly because of the lack of detail in the convention committee reports. I don't know what's been done.
What detail you're searching for, sir?
Well, how about this? I'll step in. So I promoted the convention in DC recently with a huge page, right? So LibertyCon, right?
Yeah.
I was one of the main promoters, right, and trying to get a bunch of people there. And seeing how their committee handled it versus this one, the things I'm wondering about is, are these people are secured? What time are they going to do their thing? And then, is there posts or things you want me to promote for each of these people to get them involved?
Absolutely.
And so I think
if there's some things you learned in that with that LibertyCon too, Lance, please, I'll take some time and I'll talk with you about some of the tricks of the trade that you might have learned.
Well, they just handed us a promotion platter on a plate. I mean, that's all they did is they said, "Here's a bunch of posts."
Can you forward me that?
Yeah, sure.
Please, thank you. Yeah, because then I have a good idea what.
No problem. Thank you. I'll get it right now.
See, and these are the things I'm talking about. So we have all these people, we know this, we know that, et cetera, et cetera. It's really, really nice when we have a dialogue where we can start kicking these things in. Where I have felt the convention chair, and I'll just be outright when I say, sure, if you guys want to take a vote, that's fine. It's because I feel like rather than trying to take this thing and work together as a big collaborative effort, it's just being used as something to railroad me, and people would rather keep things from my ear than give me some assistance to help shore up some of those edges, and that's not a functioning body.
Okay, so I know how running a convention is very difficult. I really do. I'm really concerned about the lack of transparency, communication, and cooperation. You haven't reached out. You haven't said, hey, I need this. Hey, we're meeting. Hey, this is what's going on. I feel like I've been left in the dark as a member. People have been asking me about going to convention, and I'm like, well, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. Even as a board member, I don't know. As a member, I don't know. There is a ton of help available. All you had to do was reach out and say, and include people. I feel like everything's been excluded, like it's just been, it's under control, it's under control, it's under control. Anytime anything's been asked, it's just been, we've been told, oh, it's under control. And that doesn't make anybody feel like they're part of the process or that what they have to contribute is going to be valued. So to to hear you say that, oh, nobody's helping kind of thing, I'm sorry, no, I'm not buying it. I'm really not, because we've been down to the wire with conventions before. We've pulled some pretty tough stuff out. You've been right there helping. And you know that if you need something, you just have to say, hey, I need a hand. And you didn't do that. And so now we are only 2 months away. Not even 2.5 months. We are 2 months away. And we're scrabbling now, when a lot of these things could have been handled 2-3 months ago.
See, that's what's interesting is I don't feel like I'm scrambling. I know other people might feel differently, but I have been involved in enough of these conventions at this point in time that I don't feel like I'm scrambling on this. There have been some mistakes that have been made, absolutely, and I do own those mistakes when they happen, but I'll tell you what, I do not feel like I'm scrambling on this whatsoever. I think the one big hurdle was me thinking we could do too much for the Saturday night speaker and just keep thinking, oh, maybe this, maybe this.
We're not talking about that.
And it took a little bit to jump on that. But I don't feel like I'm scrambling on this whatsoever. I feel very, very confident going into it.
We should be having robust sales happening now. This is our prime selling time. That we need to. This is a weekend in April. And you know, we need to have people planning for it and paying for their tickets from now on, not next month.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be scrambling to get attendees if we're not ready to go now.
We get a good amount of them in the last 3 weeks, typically with the conventions we've been a part of. A lot of people do the last minute. Depending on sales, I'd argue about putting a discount in towards the end to kind of entice buyers. But I'm telling you guys, I feel very confident right now.
Your name?
You gotta breathe, guys. You gotta breathe.
3 months ago, I volunteered, and I was told my health was not needed.
I nominated you to run business, and you declined.
If you did that 3 months later, and it was me, I'm not trying to make this about you, Matt, so I'm speaking to the entire board.
Okay.
Because it wasn't just to you that I said, this is astounding, a volunteer's being turned away. I said that to the whole board, and all of y'all kept your mouths shut. It wasn't, I can't put it just on that. Yes, 3 months later, and then I realized that's because things were starting to go down the shitter when I volunteered to have help 3 months ago. And I was like, and it was like, still no appreciation. And I heard that meeting that we weren't fundraising because we had nothing to sell. That's why I resigned from helping, because I heard that meeting we had nothing to sell. I felt like I was treated like complete crap by this board. I went home and canceled my monthly donations, which I have never done, and I've given it to National now. But when I say I'm not pleased, I'm not. My husband's state chair, and I'm no longer giving money to the state party, because the way it was handled, I think, was badly. And honestly, I think the way an experienced volunteer was turned away is just completely shameful. I don't want to see that happen to anyone else. I'm a big girl, I put my knickers back on. But you're going to lose people for life with that. So I don't want to hear there wasn't any help. I offered to take over half of it, and I know what I'm doing. I was made to feel like I was just being a troublemaker. And I wanted to get out of everyone's here. Believe me, if you guys had just given that to me, I would have been so happy in my little business nest. You wouldn't have heard a peep from me. It was turned away. First time I sat here right there and said, is this board telling me that I'm offering to help and I'm being told my help is not needed? Someone who's ran multiple business sessions, that's an officer in the National Party, seriously? And everyone just looked at me. And now the chickens come home to roost because you are scrambling. You have bios for these speakers. Have you spoken to Amy about the layout of the program?
Yep.
Has Amy gotten any definite word on this other than 3
Yeah,
months ago of baby?
No, I talked to Amy like literally 4 or 5 days ago.
Okay, well, at the time that I originally made some of my lists, 4 or 5 days ago, Amy sometimes needs 2 nights to make a nice.
Well, I'm glad you brought that, because so our date for our final submission date is going to be basically March 31st at 11:59. From the 1st of April, Amy will be able to get everything going. So that means board members, I will need your reports for the convention pamphlet March 31st, latest.
And this convention?
April 26th.
Okay. Out of, the convention is April 26th through the 28th. Shouldn't we have this already? And what kind of help do you need? Matt, we're here. What do you need from us? What kind of help do you need?
I am at the point
I'm
where
willing to step in and help you.
what I need from you is some help selling sponsorships.
Yeah, I got that from you, the list of
Yep.
costs and all that.
That's where I'm really going to need a lot of help on. I have.
Do you have the bios for all the speakers? Do you have little blurbs that I can, call sponsors and say, hey, this is who's speaking this day, this is who's speaking that day?
Yeah, I'll be filling in sponsor bios. That's on my this week.
By this week?
That's on my this week.
Is there any other help that you need from the board members, from the membership in general?
I need board members to promote the event, to talk to their friends. At this point in time, where I'm at, I will see where my volunteers are at. And because when you get enough people, some people don't end up responding, and some people shirk at the responsibility. So I'll have this call on the 27th, and I'll lay out what we're going to need as far as at convention from our volunteers, and anything that's not there, I'll need to fill in. Board members aren't going to. There's the tough thing though, is because a lot of these things is going to be managing things actually happening at the convention, and that is not a good thing for a board member to really be involved in, because the board member needs to be there during the business session and everything like that. And honestly, a board member should never be convention chair again. I'm just throwing that out there. But it's so at the end of the day, what I'm going to need is potentially filling in some holes in the volunteer gaps and sponsorship ticket sales. That's going to be it. And like I said, I don't want to drive to every freaking Tea Party meeting in the state and things like that. So things that you other folks might be able to attend, get with your contacts, get 10 minutes in front of them. That's going to help a lot. 10 minutes of your time at a meeting could sell 5 tickets.
What do we get to tell them?
What's that?
What do we get to tell them?
Like I said, the bios are going to be all on that this week. I'll be able to go out. I'll have all those bios up this week, John.
Mr. Stapleton?
I didn't see it in the report. I'd seen it in the email where Mr. Montoni had sent a list of media opportunities and suggestions.
Yeah.
Have any of those been brought before the convention committee? I offered to get with one of the Southern Colorado, if we were going to have a panel discussion on a topic, one of our Southern Colorado Democratic legislators to have a discussion. Has that been tossed around or discussed in that debate?
Yeah, we'll discuss
it. If we go that route, the stuff that is on Mr. Montoni's list needs to be planned for. We're talking probably no less than 45 days out.
Yes.
Because we want to get that stuff out in front of people.
Yeah, so that
and Mr. Montoni is a valuable resource. He brings a truckload of ideas, and we need to be looking and taking advantage of every single one of those ideas.
Yeah, I think the best one you brought was Tim Hagan as somebody to potentially be, and I think that's a smoking deal that could be offered to us as well. The Mark is definitely a good resource.
Well, right now, I am not feeling good about this.
Okay.
The last 2 years, I ended up jumping in and finishing the work that the convention chairs were doing. Luckily, I was able to find Roger Barris to help us. He took over. Again, we were in a very, very difficult spot last year because we were behind the 8 ball time-wise. I feel as though we're in a worse spot now. I'm not comfortable with the report. Doesn't give me any comfort. Doesn't tell me what all has been done, although there has been a little bit of information here that I didn't have before. You know, all of the different speakers that are now confirmed, I'm guessing. I see that you put some numbers together as to what our expenses are going to be. But I'm not feeling confident here at all. And it seems like that is a very large feeling throughout the board here. We have a motion on this.
Okay, I'll make a motion if the motion needs to be made. I move that Matt Gigi be discharged as the chair of the convention committee.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Then I'm going to give you the first opportunity to speak.
You know, we put a lot of good work into this. We had a site secured really, really early. We got derailed a little bit with the change that happened, which I do believe was really avoidable, and it cost each person that's money that wants to attend a convention and stay at the hotel some money. That was really disappointing. There was nothing on my side though. That stuff should have been handled in the last few years. There should have been a buzzer that went off, and we should have been alerted on that. I think that I have done very well with putting together things with great respect for the party's dollars. I'm not overspending and overbooking like has been done in the past. I believe that we have a really nice theme this year. I think that the schedule is booked really nice to reflect that theme. The tickets were up on with National with as much time between the event and the date they went on sales since I've been involved with the committee. The only thing we're lacking is a couple of speakers for Saturday, really. Just got to put together, you know, like I said, got the speaker bios tonight. Eric's working up the graphics so we can get that out, distributed to the social media world and through other networks. I have gone down to the El Paso County meeting, taking about 8 hours out of my day to go and promote the event. Spent countless dollars of my time and energy on it. So I wake up in the middle of the night wondering if I accomplished, if I did something, breaking out at times, and then I go back to sleep because I did. So if you want to take this off of my plate after everything I put in, that would be your choice, but I don't think I'm in a position that would be deserving of that. But I'll be taking a whole lot less Tums if you do.
Being removed, if the board chooses that's what the board wants to happen, would not mean you can't continue to help on the convention committee.
Oh,
it's the chair position. So you're saying without being chair, you don't want to be involved?
I think the lines in the sand have been drawn, Wayne. You know what I'm talking about.
Anybody else have anything? Mr. Stapleton?
Before this vote, and having everybody express their concerns to you, to get a vote of my confidence, what would you do as a corrective action starting now?
So what I'll say is that between now and that phone call that I have, that I'm going to have at the end of the month with the volunteers, is I'm going to have all the bios up. I'm going to be utilizing it through social media and our different platforms. So I'll give a glance on that. I'll have David get that out in an email. Eric's going to have some really slick graphics out there. I want to set up a plan to give to the different people on the board of certain Tea Party meetings, etc., that they can go to where they can promote some of these things, help to spread out the burden of promoting this. And from there, I think the best thing at that point in time is just going to be trying to get people to where they're promoting this organically. It's the more money that we can save, the better. And that's the one thing, if I could say anything for you, Michael, it's, I have booked an expensive speaker, but I went and I got the dollars for it. I have shown great respect for the members' money and where it goes, what it's purposed for. As I'm the membership director, I want to train activists. I got the guy in the party at this point in time. I need you guys to help me bring it home, but I have but the plan is there, the scheduling is there so that people can really take hold of this and grab on to a really good speaker who believe it or not, I'm building this around more than you think. Promoting this as Robin is the founder of Blue Republican is going to hit a lot of those Ron Pauley people and hopefully bring them back into the fold. I just, Michael, I feel really confident in this and that if in the next 2 weeks or better, that if I accomplish those things, we're better than on track than we have been in the past. And
so you're saying you're giving yourself the timeline of the next 2 weeks.
Till
I mean, that's what
yeah, till the meeting, the 27th. So
what I want to see, or what would give me some type of comfort, is and my social personality doesn't lean that way, but because it's not. I'm not a. I play better from behind, so trust me that you're not being criticized for how you do stuff. But when I see something as big as this,
yes,
and it's why I don't get involved in something as big as this, because I want to see proactive and not reactive.
Okay.
I want to see a timeline saying the convention committee will have this task accomplished by this said date. The convention committee will have this second task accomplished by this said date. We should, and the thing that really got to me, and Lance backed it up, watching LibertyCon, watching Anarchapulco, following all these Liberty events. When speakers are booked, speakers are announced.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that's exactly what we promoted and gets media there. So, you know, my thing with it is I want to interview people. I want to interview presidential candidates. So I need to know right away. That was our first question to them: is if we're going to help promote you, LibertyCon, what is our take on it? Is we want exposure because we're going to expose people through interviews and write-ups. But I can't do that.
We are at 9 o'clock. Do I have a motion to extend 15 minutes?
So moved.
Okay, go ahead, Lance, finish up.
That was it.
Thank you, Michelle.
I would like to say something as someone who has put on numerous conventions, including a national convention, and I absolutely understand how important it is to get the names of the speakers out in front of the public immediately. Something that we've discussed before, that you can't put it out there till you absolutely know you've got that person locked in. And a lot of times you don't get them locked in till the last minute. A lot of times you don't even know what day they can be there. The minute you get them locked in, yes, you have to promote them. But I know how difficult it is to line up speakers and to get them to sign on that dotted line and accept what you're going to pay them. And you're constantly negotiating a better price on them, and whether or not you're going to cover their hotel or how many meals you're going to cover and stuff. It's a lot of work. It's an incredible amount of work. It's a full-time job. And not only is he doing the Cheers job here, but he's still doing some of his membership stuff. This wouldn't be here if it hadn't been the stuff that he gave to me. All I did is format it. I mean, it's not like he's not doing something. You know, yes, I do wish that he would lock in those speakers and let us know who they are, but it's not like he's not doing anything.
And I have like a half a dozen hours in with going back and forth with Robin Corner on some different drafts of his contract and stuff. Like, I have gone cross-eyed over Word documents and things of that nature at this point in time. And the reason it's so easy for me to sit back here and say, take your vote, is because I can be proud of the work that I put in. And if you choose to push me away, I know the position that you're putting yourselves in with losing that link. It's not a fun place to be in, guys. Convention chair is an absolute whore.
Stabdo.
Thank you, Michelle.
We would love to be proud of your work too. That's the whole point of my beef here, is that we've had zero communication, zero cooperation, and zero transparency in it. And when you have something as big as convention, certain things have to be done in a certain order in order for things to flow. If we don't know what's going on, we can't step in and say, hey, you're about to blow a deadline. If we don't know what's going on, we can't step in and say, hey, you know, actually I know a guy who might be able to help here. That is what the convention chair is supposed to do, is to keep the lines of communication going so that everybody is up to speed with what's going on. It's not about that you haven't done work. And honestly, we would love to be proud of your work, but we don't know about it.
We might need to make it so that all board members are ad hoc convention committees for the next time around, or as
not being CC'd on any kind of or any kind of information that committee meetings are happening, or when you are specifically invited to participate as convention chair, that it doesn't happen. And I, you know, I'm really frustrated because education of the membership is very, very important to me this year, and I felt completely blown off.
And I absolutely apologize. I think we got confused in our conversation, Kim. I apologize. It seems like it was mostly on my end, but it's something we can talk about. You saw that we do have those slots on the schedule, so those people that you have thoughts on,
okay,
get them to me ASAP, and we can talk about utilizing them.
When I go in and look at the spreadsheet, it was there, but it was not on the sheet that you handed to me. There were no spots there.
Oh yeah, because the report didn't have the cell, obviously.
So, you know, that's the kind of thing that the convention chair really needs to have a grip on, is making sure that the information is disseminated properly to who needs it, who wants it, and it's transparent to the membership, because this is, as you rightly pointed out, this is their money, and you've been very judicious in spending it. But they need to know. They need to know these things. They need to be able to see. We can't promote something that we don't know about. So that's my whole beef.
Mr. Stapleton?
So on the list of speakers, everybody on that list has, for clarification, has been confirmed.
Yeah, it's with Bethany, Cranlitter, we're confirmed. D. Frank, we're confirmed on that one. A lot of these, I'll be honest with you, Tom Arnold. A lot of these are gentlemen's agreements in a lot of ways. If you want me to get a contract from Tom Arnold, let me know, and I'll send a contract to Tom Arnold. But
I'll bring whiskey and cigars. He'll be here.
Yeah, right. It's Tom Arnold.
I'm not necessarily wanting to go that direction. I think when you're going to put a report together and you have a speaker, it would give some reassurance if you put a note behind it, confirm.
Okay.
And the ones who are confirmed, we know they're confirmed. The ones who you're still in negotiations with, put them in a separate portion of the report. So that way, for clarification, not only does the board know, but the people who are looking at anything that's on the website out there, they know what's confirmed. If the report's up on the website, they know that who's confirmed and who we're looking at.
Advice. I did have something to add if this makes anyone feel more comfortable about this whole thing. Somebody had mentioned something about an elevator pitch a little while back. So I'm a music business major. I'm a college student right now. I have class 2 days a week. I run a music label. I manage 5 acts. I have extensive experience organizing music events. I've organized all-night 9-hour music events with 16 acts on the bill, bringing in 2 sound systems by myself, actually. Like I said, I managed 5 acts. I've coordinated trips to Austin, Texas to play.
We're pressed for time here. Please get your point.
I was going to say, if his stepping down or being voted down leaves a void, I will fill that void. That makes anyone more comfortable. I have a lot of experience with this, and I do have some time on my hands. And I'm all about transparency. So.
Would you be willing to help him if he doesn't step down?
Sure. I'd rather do it by myself, to be honest, after what I've seen tonight.
It's a whole committee that would have to be run.
Yes. There's a chair, secretary.
I was the vice chair of the college council on my student government association, so I'm actually very familiar with the process, and I actually coordinated various music and arts events on campus, bringing many people together different kinds of things. I have a lot of experience with this and coordinating different people. As I said, I've brought probably 20 people in by myself to an event. My dad actually is an attorney. He specializes in contract law. I've been doing contract administration for about 3 to 4 years, working as sort of like a paralegal, drafting legal language, sending it to him, getting it finalized, all that. So I actually have probably all the experience necessary to be the chair of that committee. I know this is my first introduction to you all, but
we're not at that point yet.
I
Thank you,
understand.
Christopher.
I understand. Just putting it out there.
If you did, I'd be happy to be the secretary.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, guys, we're in the discussion stage after a motion and a second. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
Just one comment, just an impression that I kind of like to do things by myself because I don't have anybody to answer to. It's easier. But in this position, you cannot be a one-man show. I think that my impression is that Matt is sort of trying to do it that way. And I think that's where the lack of transparency comes in.
It's been a bit of a tough road. I'll be honest. There's some people with some great skills on the convention committee who will be able to help in certain aspects. But when I send out an email to 18 people saying, "Talk to me about some ideas that you have for potential speakers and things like that," and I think I get a total of 3 responses, guess where all that weight ultimately does end up falling? You can engage people, but it's they got to meet you halfway, and the committee had an opportunity to throw up a lot of different people out there, and they refrained from the opportunity, so on a couple of different occasions.
Well, I'm going to add one thing here. I found all the speakers last year for our convention. So Roger did a phenomenal job, but I was behind it the whole time, making sure that he had the support to get things done. He wasn't afraid to ask for help. We were on the phone every single day for 3 months. Every day. He had weekly or every 10 days meetings with all of his volunteers on the phone for 3 months. And we still struggled to get everything done in time. So that's where my concern lies. And we started this conversation a couple months ago, and then we addressed it again a couple weeks ago. I don't have the confidence right now, Matt. I wish I did. If your reports were more complete and I knew exactly what you have accomplished, then maybe I'd have more confidence. Not getting the report in until 5 minutes before our meeting or an hour before our meeting today is not acceptable. I'm trying to participate in a conversation here and read your report to see what all has been done. We've had this conversation before that that's not acceptable. So that's where my lack of confidence comes in. You may have done 10 pages of work that we don't know about. Why isn't it in your report? Why didn't we have your report on time?
Well, I went over that.
No, I'm telling you what my concern is. Yes. Anything else anybody wants to say before we bring this to a vote? Mr. Gobranski.
There's just several things that have gone on tonight. Sometimes it brings more questions to my mind than answers. One, I believe that one of Matt's problems is you have 3 members on your committee plus yourself. Or is it 3 total?
There's 18 people who submitted applications to be involved, who are involved in all of these discussions.
You have a committee. Can you give us names of who's on that committee? Who are the 3-0 votes when you have a committee?
That's my question. Is out of those 18, out of those 18 people.
Don't answer anything until I'm done.
Sure.
And you may not have to answer any of it. You have certain skills. I think you're very good at what you've done, communicating with the facilities, communicating with the people. I'm sorry, but there's certain things you suck at. Matt, you're not good at documentation. Okay? You need a very good secretary to document everything that you've got going on. You need a media director. I think you can find those volunteers, some of them right here in this room. Honest to God, Michelle and I have bent over backwards to try and help you and prevent exactly what's happening tonight from happening.
I don't know what else I can do for you.
Yeah.
I've offered, we've offered, we've worked with you. But, you know, if a vote were to happen right now, I'll tell you right now, I'd either have to vote to remove you or abstain. Because I don't feel comfortable.
I wish that you did.
And it's not because I believe that shit's up here, but it's not accessible to any of us right now.
Anybody else? Okay. Bring this to a vote. Nice. Well, I'll restate the motion. The motion was to remove Matt as convention committee chair.
Nay. Nay.
Nay. Treasurer.
Aye.
Fundraising.
Nay.
Campaigns.
Aye.
Outreach.
Nay.
Then you just said you were going to be a yes or an abstain.
That was if you took a vote right then.
I said a few seconds.
Okay. Regents.
Aye.
Legislative.
Aye.
Membership.
Oh,
Nay.
Your vote was?
Nay. If I was voted aye, I would just resign.
Communications.
Yay.
Records, is this something that you want to
Abstain.
Okay, the vote is 5 yeses, 4 noes, and 1 abstain. Man, I appreciate all you've done. We would love to have you continue to help if you're willing to. At this point, I will start looking for a replacement for the chair position, committee chair. And in the meantime, I will take over.
If it's okay with you, I can finish securing the contract with Robin since we're dead in the middle of it.
I'd love for you to stay on and help with any capacity you'd like to.
Okay, that I'll honestly do with that, but then, you know, I got something else to focus on for the next 2.5 months. Y'all have the ball.
Okay. Guys, we are out of time. All of our pending business will have to go towards next month's meeting. Is there anything that's pressing that we have to talk about today? Ms. Pope?
This is dated for March. If we don't approve it today, it has to be redone because most of the news will be tomorrow.
Okay.
Move to extend.
How much time do you need?
Just 5 minutes. 5
Motion to
minutes.
extend 5 minutes.
Okay.
Second.
I didn't make copies for everyone. It's a mock-up of what it would look like. Sorry, you have to share. The print version would be in black and white because it's cheaper. What I would like to do is we can get 500 copies for $306, or we can get 1,000 copies for $429. I think the $429 is a better investment. I'd like to see it go out in everything that we put out. Karen Ann has offered to take the information and put it digital and do a digital newsletter. Don't pull those apart here. It's 8 pages. 8 pages, black and white, and print. The news online would be obviously in color It has our convention information in it. It also has a call for nominations, which is what I need to have out immediately for our awards committee for the convention. If it doesn't go out this month, then we need to take a whole bunch of stuff out of it and start all over. So if you look at it and find any mistakes in it, because it's been just barely proof, but if you find anything in there that needs to be done, I know I need to add the website to the bottom of this. Get back to me in the next couple of days and I can change it before the PDFs go to the printer if you approve it. But I move that we spend $429.25 pre-tax on producing 1,000 newsletters.
Would we have a second?
Second.
Okay, question. Would this newsletter, buying 1,000 copies, would this be the newsletter that goes in the convention grab bags?
We can put it in there, but a lot of the information in there is old.
Okay.
Yeah, and we could. What I like it to be used for is for outreach. You go to outreach booths and stuff, and even if it's past due for somebody that's new, at least they'll see what we have done and what we are doing. There's good information in there. Even if the convention has gone past due, somebody getting this when they first get their bumper sticker from Mark Montoni, if they get this in the mail, they get to know a little bit about us, and that's what I would like to use it for as an outreach tool. And I would eventually like to get it to be quarterly, but I know that it has to bring money in before we can start doing something like that.
Mr. Cabras?
Yeah, just to add to what she's saying, we talked. The 1,000 copies may or may not be the right number, but the distribution would be number one to all current donors, a list that we would get from John or Victoria. It would be to new members of the party for whatever period until the next newsletter is produced that would go to Mark Montoni, that even included the mailers he does. A small supply to be available for outreach. And until we get some regularity, whether we do this quarterly or which other frequency there may be, a printed copy would be the most recent newsletter until a subsequent newsletter is produced. So that all of those things, Mark Montoni and the outreach booths would use this and have enough produced in order to do that. And I think at the same time we're approving a budget to have them printed, we need to talk about a budget to have those mailed, those that we would mail to the existing list of donors. I think that's it.
John?
Should the newsletter just be on the website where we don't have to spend money mailing it all?
No.
Why not?
I've been fighting this
We
for
need
30
to
years.
touch our members. I love my LNC newsletter.
The National Party swears they bring in enough money in donations from the newsletter to more than finance the newsletter. So ultimately, the idea is to try to find a way to mirror that, and we have cool thing is we've got the new membership tiers going in there. You got convention sales going in there. So getting it into the hands of the donors is going to sell tickets, and it's going to potentially get people into these new donation programs. But the goal being for us to have our own identity.
The new options for donations. A very basic donation of $25 gets you automatically on the list to get a printed copy of the newsletter. So that $25, if it pays for nothing else, pays for that person to get a copy of the newsletter. That newsletter done in a digital format should be everywhere. It should be on the website. It should be
email.
This would be in addition to anything.
But 1,000 pieces that we can distribute amongst 40,000 voters in the state of Colorado.
And this is something that I really just banged my head against the wall for the longest time, because I watched the conversation go on with National, like, should we even do this? Is it worth the production, the time, the energy, and everything like that? And ultimately what came out at the end is, yes, you produce enough in donations that you recoup the cost. It's, a lot of the time people wonder, well, what are you guys doing? We're doing, and it's right on their doorstep optimistic.
Move to take the vote.
I just actually have a question.
Steve, yes, sir.
I just want to make sure, Michelle, that address is right. It's the correct address, right? Just because that's the kind of thing I want to
The Ken Carl address?
Yeah.
That's the one I got off the website, so I'm hoping that's the right one.
That's the PO box that Mike Spalding gets into.
Okay.
It's the only address.
Okay.
So how many copies will that 400 and some odd dollars pay for?
1,000 for 429 or 500 for 306. I think it's worth it to spend the extra $125 and get 1,000.
I agree. All right, so the motion is to spend $430 for 1,000 copies of the newsletter. Any further discussion? Okay, go ahead and put it to a vote. I'm going to just say, are there any objections? Okay, that passes.
We'll see them next week,
Beautiful.
unless there's a lot of mistakes in there.
The only pressing thing was
Has the meeting been adjourned?
I don't know. Are we
We haven't had a motion to adjourn.
Okay, good.
Again, in conjunction with this, do we want to mail them anytime between now and the next board meeting? If there is, we should all vote to approve the budget to mail.
What date was the meeting?
It was.
Anybody paying attention?
Okay, let's back up a little bit. We need to decide who we're going to mail it to. So at this point, we don't have enough information really to vote on this. I propose we do an email vote here within the next week.
Oh, wait a minute, do we not have enough? We're gonna mail it to existing donors. How many people is that? Do we not know that? Do we have a rough
I have
number?
about 500 people.
About 500 people, but
That have donated.
$250 in postage.
That's in the last
We have
12 months.
$250 in postage tonight.
Well, I think if you want to make that motion, I'll second.
I make a motion, we approve $250 for postage tonight.
Okay, second.
I can give you the exact number, not off the top of my head.
I make a motion and commitment that if the number exceeds $250, I will personally subsidize that.
I'll
We have
second
any
that
further
motion.
discussion? Any objection? That also passes. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. We have a second?
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
The only thing I was going to say is I hope everybody who can't make it to the Denver meeting